Frank. What's the weirdest thing you've ever saw in here?
Let me ask you a question, kid. Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
Well, where are we gonna party?
I don't know, somewhere.
Hey, we could go to the park.
Oh, no, we can't. The cops said they'd shoot us if we go back to the park.
Yeah, and I ain't in no mood to go tonight.
I like death.
Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to minute 63 of Do You Want to Party, the Movies by Minute podcast for the 1985 groundbreaking horror classic, Return to the Living Dead. I'm your host, Troy, and joining us for this particular episode is my closer in age personal Doc Brown. That's you, Dan.
That's me, Dan Goodland.
All right, welcome back, Dan. Thank you for joining me for this particular minute.
Very happy to.
Excellent. And this particular minute is going to start with separating a woman from her meal and ends with tying down of their new guests. So as the disastrous scene plays out, Spider pins the ghoul to the ground with the handle of his mallet. Its body squirming on the growing pool of blood that's pouring out of the head wound of her snack. Bert yells for the separation as he drags Scuzz's body away from its attacker, leaving a long trail of hemoglobin. Scuzz's face is red as if he's just finished a no-holds-barred wrestling match. With the other two occupied, it's up to Ernie to finish off the job of sealing up the entryway to halt others from gaining access to the casket supply room. The half-corpse, still pinned to the floor, thrashes its head. Ernie hurriedly pushes aside a large cardboard box cover to get at an equally large plank of wood. As creatures outside the window advance forward, Ernie slams the new barricade into place, and with his whole body. Pressing his knee against it, Ernie starts wailing away at a nail to secure it. Once noticing he's pulled the punk far enough away, Bert crouches down, leaning his ear against Scuzz's chest. A close-up of Scuzz's head, while Bert listens, shows the gnawed, open hole in his scalp, just offset of his matted down with blood mohawk. As a matter of fact, practically every exposed inch of Scuzz's flesh is shiny with the crimson mask, including his hands. Getting his unexpected result, Bert curses and announces Scuzz's condition aloud.
Shit.
He stumbles to his feet as Ernie continues to place several nails in place. He shouts at Ernie at the same time as Spider, asking loudly for the next step.
What are we doing this? What are we doing this?
Stepping away from the newly sealed window, Ernie stops to observe Spider and his prisoner, his brain running a scenario. Then, once the solution arrives, he tells Spider the first state of his plan.
Just wait there a second.
Bert loudly announces his need to evacuate the current location.
Let's get out of here!
As Ernie quickly traverses the length of the room, he retrieves a long metal pole that was propped up against a storage box. Spider questioning Bert about his friend's activity.
Where the fuck are we going?
As Ernie, new item in his hand, steps back towards Spider. Both men question him directly. Ernie doesn't speak as he spins the long pole around, directing the pointed end downwards as Bert warns Ernie of his actions.
Ernie, what are you doing? Hey! Hey!
The half-corpse, still struggling against Spider's restraint, now has the business end of Ernie's tool slotted through her ribs just under its right shoulder blade. At this point, he informs Spider to back away.
Let me take it! You can let go of it now.
To which Spider questions the funeral director's sanity.
Are you crazy?
When Ernie mentions the others to observe the current change in the monster,
Look at it.
where we see its sudden docile demeanor as a chunk of organic matter that formerly belonged to Scuzz drops from her lipless mouth with a sigh. As Spider relinquishes his hold, Ernie proceeds
Feels better. Better.
at the pole's length to drag the animated corpse. Bert again insists that they leave the room.
We gotta get out of here, Ernie!
Now stands a somber Spider, mallet in hand, following the others. He looks downward as he passes by his fallen friend. The whole time Bert loudly expressing his dislike of Ernie's actions.
Ernie, we gotta get the fuck out of here! Leave it! What are you doing? God damn it, Ernie!
Jump to the blue-eyed, blood-dyed haired, green-tinted corpse lying on her back on the examination table of the embalming room. The red and black cord crisscrossing her torso, set up by Ernie and Bert. Her head bobbing around as a wheezy breath escapes her teeth-bared mouth. With a more reserved demeanor, Bert again questions his friend's intentions.
Well, I don't understand what you want with it, Ernie. I mean, what are we doing with it?
As knots are being made, Ernie admits to his scientific curiosity.
I want to examine it.
As Spider is quick to be concerned of the security of the bonds,
Man, you make sure it's tied right.
Ernie conveys his positive outlook.
Big time, right?
When Spider inquires about the ghoul getting free,
I mean, it's not gonna get a loose, right?
Ernie starts to reassure him about its strength level.
No, it's not gonna get loose. You're no stronger.
And that's where we end this minute. All right, so
Lots happening.
yes, a lot did happen, and it is a very strong follow-up to what has just happened. We lost another character. It's interesting to see how all of a sudden scientific Ernie gets, and like as soon as it's presented to him, hey, what should we do right now? Right? He's all of a sudden, ooh, wait,
Yeah.
I got an idea, sort of thing. And basically he becomes clinical for the next like little while and all that sort of thing. But you can see it switch from like the panic of like the last man hammering the window close and all that sort of thing, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
instantly, whoa, I got to be scientific about this sort of thing.
This is interesting.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I also like the little goof of the when he pushes the cardboard box to the side to get to that wooden plank, how it just slowly floats, turns around, and actually falls right over top of the half corpse. But
Yep.
when we cut back to another shot, the half corpse is no longer covered, sort of thing, which is kind of funny to see. Something that I mean, one of the few things that you do notice because of how slow that cardboard just floats down and just gently covers the whole entire effect, which is
Yep.
hilarious. Like it doesn't even come close to like hitting Miguel Nunez, right? It just actually just right there. That puppet is now completely covered by cardboard. And all that
Completely.
sort of thing. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I like how the wooden board or whatever that might be, it's
Mhm.
awfully thick for a board, but
It totally is. It totally is. Yeah.
but it only took like one nail to hold it all.
There is a little bit more in the work print that shows him hammering in different areas and all that sort of thing. But yes, what we clearly see is he hammers one at the very top, and then we cut back. He's like pounding one final one on the side, and like two nails. That's it. But there is a little more activity in the work print, but we'll get to that when we
Yeah.
get to that. But yeah. So and then
And the zombie itself is amazing. The animatronic,
sure.
unbelievable.
Well, for the most part, it the only really, I mean, it is slightly animatronic. It's not like radio controlled and all that sort of
Well,
thing. It's
I'm
more of a
thinking
puppet.
puppet-
It's more of a
puppeteer.
puppet. Yes, it's a very fantastic puppet. And it runs off of several different things as well. Like its mouth is a hand puppet that someone manipulates with all that, but in the shot where you see the back of its head and its head's bopping up and down, it's just a pole going through the ground and it's bobbing the head up and down and all that sort of thing, which is
And when
how
he's moving it,
that's-
he's actually jiggling the staff to make it look
exactly.
moving.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's a great show in like again, almost like a mime sort of thing. Like the puppeteering is worked by both the puppeteers themselves working it and the other people interacting with it. Like when Spider's got the thing and all that, he like jiggles the body and all that sort of thing
Yep.
slightly and all that, and again, like you said, as Ernie's dragging the whole entire thing,
Which
he
adds to the
also
effect
animates
of
it.
holding it in place.
Yeah, exactly, which works perfectly for the sequence. Exactly, exactly. And yeah, again, the look of this creature is beautifully on display in the last like couple of seconds of this particular minute. And yeah, it's a beautiful sculpted piece and all that sort of thing. It's clearly our previous featured creatures, Yellowman, Tarman, uh, the legless creature, and all
Mm.
that sort of thing are
Mhm.
people in costumes. They are people done up in makeup and whatnot. And what this is our first like really cool because the other thing, sorry, I take it back. We do have a skeletal character, the "Do you want to party" creature that comes up from the grave to start the whole entire
Yeah,
show off, sort of thing in the cemetery. But again, that's just a simple rod puppet with a two moves. Its mouth opens and the eyes open,
yeah.
and that's about it. But yeah, this here is a beautiful example of what can be done. First of all, I'll get to it in a minute, but
Yeah, I'm looking
like
forward to what you're going to
it
say
was,
about
yeah,
it.
it was definitely a very quick turnover for this creature to be come into existence and all that sort of thing.
Man, I'm looking forward to finding out if she has a name. I can't remember.
I did to be honest, I have never found one, and she's only referred to even in the credits, as the half corpse. So that's the only name that she is sidled
Oh,
with. There's no like even I can't remember off the top of my head what it is right now, but even the skeletal form that comes out of that grave, he's got a grave marker behind him, and he has his name. His name is written there, sort of thing. So we know what that character's name is and all that. But other than that, we do not know an actual name for this character. So. All right, so that's going to bring us to the commentary track, which this particular version we are dealing with the commentary track with the writer director Dan O'Bannon and the production designer William Stout. So as we start this particular minute, William Stout points out how the actor was really into the special effects and the floor effects. Dan O'Bannon mentions how he died well, and William Stout seconds that notion. He then mentions how he when he was being pulled that was him acting like he was being pulled. When he points out the half corpse, to which Dan O'Bannon thanks Tony Gardner and how quickly he made it, recalling how he had brought him in a few days actually before the shoot of that scene. William Stout mentions how Tony Gardner was at that moment working for Rick Baker, and that at the time he asked Rick Baker if Tony Gardner could do some moonlighting for them. Dan O'Bannon recalls when Tony Gardner had showed up with the half corpse that Dan had said, "Thank you, Lord." Sorry, said, "Lord, thank you." Might as well get the quote right. If I'm going to quote the man, I might as well quote him properly. William Stout mentions how Dan wanted the pretty blue eyes, and once once on the table, William Stout talks about himself and Tony Gardner being under the table, where Tony was controlling the head, while William Stout was moving the spinal cord, and he was also in charge of the syringe that leaked the spinal fluid. So, it basically what we're dealing with is a gentleman who came in again. Tony Gardner, a huge career of special effects. This is very, very early in his career as well. I mean, he has been working with Rick Baker and all that sort of thing with his projects and whatnot. And this is his first like step out from underneath Rick Baker's shadow sort of thing. And this is where his career pretty much takes off because he's credited so much for the look of this character. And as you can see, it's so beautifully sculpted. And the fact that it was pulled off in such short time is a remarkable thing. Now, I don't know if it was actually just 2 or 3 days that he had to work on this, but apparently it was a very short amount of time because, I mean, Dan O'Bannon sometimes recalls things properly or corrects himself later on or contradicts himself later on in this commentary track. But yeah, so we're dealing with again a hand puppet and again a rod puppet for the hands. Now, In this incarnation of the hands, they are very stable. Later on, we do see actually moving portions of the hands, but those are different parts. When we get to them, we'll talk about them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's fascinating to know that it's such a, again, we're dealing with a short budget. We're dealing with a time restraint because the movie's being filmed in somewhat order and all that sort of thing. So to bring someone in while they're already in production and a couple of days later, here's what you want, and it turns out it's exactly what they needed. And again, an iconic look. We keep pointing out that that's the thing about this movie is there's several of these featured creatures that are iconic to the movie. You see a picture of them, you know exactly what movie we're talking about. You know exactly where you are in the movie when you see them in certain situations. I mean, it's just a phenomenal thing. Like Tarman and reanimated trash and the half corpse are just examples of how well done this movie is done for what we have. Like we're talking middle of the 80s, very minimal budget and still pulling off something that even today looks spectacular because it's all practical. Like
Yeah.
we're in an era where there was no digital effects. We're in an era where everything's being shot on film. The movie itself is being sliced and taped together as editing and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
It's just fascinating how well the movie looks from back then to now. I mean, even in when you're looking at like a 4K restoration of this movie, it still looks spectacular because they also decide to use to have a great color palette because every creature has a different look to it. We got Yellow Man, we got Tar Man, we got the half corpse, we got the legless guy. So the legless guy is like more of a bluish gray, and we've got Tar Man who is obviously gray with exposed skull, and Yellow Man obviously is all yellow, and this greenish brown creature that is the half corpse. They're so separate for each other. And again, spoiler, when later on when Trash returns, she's this completely pale white with the shocking red hair and all that sort of thing. So it's just again visually stunning, and each one is so different from the last, which is something you would really be hard pressed to find even in a modern day like zombie movie. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the characters, except for one or two featured ones and all that, but you rarely run into featured creatures unless one of your main characters gets turned into a zombie or something like that. That's when you go all out on the make for that. Now again, The Walking Dead, of course, you have a lot of that idea, but they got that idea from this movie, like having your
Well,
featured creatures.
a lot of
Also,
movies come from this movie.
yeah. Again, Romero as well. By his second movie, he was having featured creatures as well, guys that you would recognize, sort of thing, and all that. I mean, like even in the third movie, Day of the Dead, Bob the zombie, like one of our first Romero ones to actually get a name, like the soldier who is like remembering his way of being all that. Now, Dan O'Bannon just ended up jumping the gun and going back. Hey, they get all their memories back as soon as they get reanimated and all that sort of thing. It doesn't slowly start coming back. But again, Romero's evolution of his zombies more and more became more conscious of their previous like existence and whatnot. I think Big Daddy was another character that they brought about in later Romero films and all that. But yeah, Dan O'Bannon just started off from the get-go. Yeah, I'm like, hey, these characters have personalities, and we get to see a lot of personalities in these characters.
Yeah. Uh, Looking up some of the words on this one is there's been like online the symbolic representations of this is the anti-authoritarian, the half woman zombie being, she's a failed military experiment and stuff where the military is trying to take control and it fails, and that's a punk rock subtext apparently.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, especially for having the characters that we do have
Yeah.
involved in this story. Yeah, that's not too far away from it. I mean, the idea of why the trioxin is affecting the way it is basically, yeah. Again, it's the idea of the the unexpected result of the chemical spill that the army had and whatnot. So yeah, yeah. I mean, by the third Return of the Living Dead, we're getting into the actual using the zombies for military purposes and all that sort of thing, because that's actually like the ley line of that movie and whatnot. But
Do they get
yeah,
into? I'm trying to remember now. Do they get into the? Was it an accident? Was it not planned to see what would happen and stuff like that? I've read conspiracy theories and stuff, and this was no.
un
They were had them out on travel to see what would happen, that kind of thing, out
yeah, yeah.
remote areas, because there's another,
Now,
they're moving stuff and
yeah. Now in the second one, it is another accident because they're transporting recovered Easter eggs, and one of them falls off the back of a military transport and ends up in a sewer that splits open, and again it turns into a fog that coats the cemetery, and it turns our grave robbers, who are portrayed by James Karen and Tom Matthews from the first movie, which is a fascinating story why those guys are involved in the second movie, even though they died in the first. I don't think it has too much of we do have Colonel Glover returning in the second movie to reprise his role. But I think that's the only really connection to. I can't remember if, because again, this doesn't seem like this was more of an accident as well. Again, obviously something that happened on the military's terms and all that sort of thing. This is they were the ones responsible for it this time, but yeah, again, I can't remember. I don't remember if the third one was a purpose, but I do know that the third one is there is actually a facility that is actually actively putting like the corpses into like exoskeletons to be able to control them, to have the be able to infiltrate like enemy lines and all that sort of thing. But again, it's been at least a decade since I've seen the third movie. And I know the movies after that really have nothing to do with it's just like
yeah, they're just
exactly, yeah,
fun movies.
exactly. They're just again creature movies is what those are. All right, so according to the script, which is a basically again a story and screenplay by Dan O'Bannon, we are dealing with a revision from October 1983, and this is based on a story and screenplay by John Russo, Rudy Rickey, and Russell Steiner. Interior coffin storage room, night, rain. Meat jams his sledgehammer down against the corpse, pinning it to the floor. Bert and Ernie grab Scuzz by the feet and drag him away from the corpse, which lets its grip up on Scuzz's head and lies there, arms outstretched. Bert bends over Scuzz's twitching body while Ernie nails the window back shut. Bert, "It got him! Christ, it got him!" Meat screams, "What are we gonna do with this thing?" Meat is leaning his weight on the end of the sledgehammer to keep the corpse from crawling away. It is squirming like a harp seal. Ernie, "Wait there a second!" Ernie runs out of the room. Meat, "What the fuck is he doing?" Ernie comes back in with a long pole with a hook on the end, like a boat hook. Ernie, "Let me take it." Ernie reaches out with the boat hook and snags the half corpse. Ernie, "You can let it go now." Meat, "Are you kidding?" Ernie, "Take a look at it." Meat looks. The corpse is relaxed. It no longer screams or struggles. It has a contented look on its face. Ernie, "It feels better now." Surprised, Meat removes the sledgehammer. Using the hook, Ernie drags the half corpse from the room, accompanied by Meat and Bert. Interior, hall, outside coffin storage room, night, rain. Ernie, "You better nail that door shut." Hastily, Meat goes to nail the door shut, while Ernie and Bert drag the corpse into the embalming room. Interior, embalming room, night, rain. Bert and Ernie drag the half corpse into the room, and using the long pole, he gets it up onto the stainless steel embalming table. Ernie gets some rope, and they wrap it around and around the table, thoroughly tying the corpse, so it can't get away. Meat comes in to join them while they're doing this. Ernie turns on a bright light over the table, illuminating the half corpse in all of its hideousness. The half corpse looks back at them, with heavy-lidded, junky eyes and a small smile. The humans can barely contain their horror. Now, just to point out there that anytime that I had mentioned the name of Meat in this version of the script, we are actually referring to the character of Spider. While it never came up, if any mention of the name of Dee Dee comes up in the this version of the script, we are actually talking about trash. So now we're on to the work print comparison, which is where when you finish filming your movie, you compile all the scenes that you have together into one giant version of the movie, which you then edit down to become your final version of what you get as what everyone sees. Now, that being said, because we're dealing with a larger movie gets cut down into a shorter movie, this particular minute of 62 to 63 in the work print is actually minute 73:24 to 74:28. So only a couple more seconds, but again, we are advanced by almost 10 minutes to begin with. So to begin with, before Bert leans into listen for Scuzz's heartbeat, it shows a tiny bit before that, as Scuzz still moves and for a bit, but then stops really quickly. The sequence is also shot completely in a pullback shot, showing the room. And the delivery of Spider's line about what to do to this thing is slightly delayed. Whereas in the final part, it's Bert has a line and Spider says a line right after it. There's actually a little bit of a pause. Then Spider says his line as Ernie's about to leave, and then Ernie has to backtrack to see what's going on. So it's a totally different scene. Well, not a totally different scene, but it's a totally different take. Don Calfa's reaction is still very animated, but not as much as it is in the final version. And then there's no front-on shot of the half corpse dropping the brains from her mouth. This version shows Ernie in the pole dragging the actual half corpse out of the room. Plus, as he passes by Scuzz's body, Spider partway crouches and almost reaches out to his dead friend before stands up and follows the others out. And once we're in the actual embalming room, the actual footage of the half corpse being tied down is the same. However, the conversation is a little different. So the sequence starts off with Bert asking what you want to do with this. And Ernie says, I want to study it and all that sort of thing. Bert doesn't say a single thing, so there's no line from Ernie about saying he wants to study it. It does have Spider questioning the tightness of the ropes and all that sort of thing. And while it takes the whole entire time for the 3 or 4 lines to play out, they just a little more spread out than what they are, where they're obviously dubbed over because, first of all, we don't see Spider in the shot at all, and we don't see any of their faces until like Ernie leans into near the end of it and all that sort of thing. So it's again same shot, just re-recorded audio for this sequence, which happens a lot in this movie, as I'm finding out. There's a lot of re-recorded sequences and all that. Obviously, some due to exterior sounds or just deciding to change up the lines and all that, which is obviously what happens in this sequence. All right, so that's going to bring us to the end of this particular minute. You got anything else you want to add to this particular minute there, Dan?
I came across something online just now. Have you ever read the novella?
I have yes and no. I have sort of half listened to John Russo's original novel that he wrote, and then he turned it into a script, and then Dan O'Bannon took over and turned it into his own idea and all that sort of thing. But what do you have to say about this?
Well, I came across a page that really got into the adaptions of it. Apparently, she was abled, so as opposed to the Skin and Bones mummy, Helen Dowden, the name of the mummy,
okay,
is stated to have died alongside her husband Morton during a car crash.
Ah, okay.
So there was that, and then there's actually a lot. There was the relationship, her being the wife of the dead man Ernie was Ernie was embalming in his first scene.
Oh, okay, okay.
At the creation of this novella.
Gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
There is an added connection.
I do remember one thing about it. There was a character named Bert. He was a widower with three daughters, the youngest of which was pregnant. The actual story for them, and I think he was a farmer, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, the their story picks up as they're driving to a funeral of a nearby person from their community and all that sort of thing. But yeah, so while the character of obviously not the Clue Gallagher version of Bert, but the story originally has a father of three. But
I'm just finding there's so much more to this one half corpse.
yeah, exactly. I don't remember coming across anything about the half corpse in the version that I listened to it, half listened to it. And it was
Yeah.
not as intriguing as I was hoping it would be.
Apparently
But
he didn't have hands. Her was missing a nose. She had
oh,
no hands.
well, okay.
She was overweight.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a
Uh,
totally opposite from what we got here. I'm gonna have to do a little more research onto that. I might actually
Apparently
try.
she had a lot of modesty, so she was dressed in a fancy country club ensemble as opposed to being naked.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you for that, Dan. Definitely gonna have to do some again.
Yeah, apparently she
I'm
was even more morbid than the one we got to meet.
really
Wow.
okay. Oh, well, over 60 minutes into this, I guess it's about time
Sorry.
that I do
Oh,
actually
yep.
pick up the original. What?
Wow. Yeah, you better, because I could probably keep going. Dang.
Okay, how about the next time I pull you in for another episode, we'll get another update and we'll see if I can track down my own copy of it and get back to we can have a little bit of a
I'll
book
send you
club.
this link because you won't be with me talking about it. But
That's true too. Yeah.
I was wondering about her name. Now I know
Yeah,
what
there
it
you go.
originally
There you
came
go.
from. Helen
Exactly, yeah.
Downey.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Dan, for first of all that bit of information. It's always good to find some more lore about this story and what goes into making up this whole entire thing. Thank you, audience, for joining me for this particular ride. It's nice to see again. Slow but surely, the numbers are growing every single time. Those of you that are listening in on or watching in on YouTube, thank you. The numbers have been spectacular the past couple of weeks and all that sort of thing. I believe I hit a view high of like 540 some odd in the last video alone, which was kind of remarkable.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
So it's it. I mean, the numbers aren't huge, but I'm enjoying it. If
Hey,
everyone else is, there's obviously
huge to
people watching.
us. Huge to
Yes,
us.
yeah, huge to us. Exactly. So once again, thank you, Dan. Thank you, audience. I got nothing else to say, but see you next Wednesday.
You've just been listening to a Planet Geek production of Do You Want to Party? A Movies by Minute podcast of the 1985 The Return of the Living Dead. Please be sure to subscribe, download, comment, share, rate, and review. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, or Letterboxd. Search for Planet Geek Productions. X, former Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, search for Planet Geek Pod. Or send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Our closing music is provided by Night Chill. See the show notes for more details. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and farewell, fiends.
My closer in age, my own. Let's see, I wrote it out in point form, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to say.
No worries.
Oh yeah, that is. Nope, I missed a page. I'm on the wrong page. Where's my
Yes.
other page? Where's my other
Hey,
page? What's
Dan
going
O'Bannon
on here?
was the one to suggest the blue eyes so that she would have the look of she was once a beautiful woman.
Yeah, that is the idea.
Yeah.
Yes. I also do like how in a lot of the the fan art for the movie. Whenever the half corpse is portrayed, she's portrayed as a redhead, whereas she's actually just has white hair that gets
Yeah,
like dyed red from Scuzz's blood and all that sort of thing. But she's drawn as a redhead. Like she's like
it's just a
there's
lot
just a fa
of fun.
yeah, exactly, exactly. All right. No, that's not it either. What the hell did my first page go?
I didn't do it.
I know you didn't. Okay, let's see here. Meet. Got him. Christ. Got him. Meet jams the slasher him down. He gets okay. That's the corpse. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the first thing. Sure that ties completely. Oh, I hate this new format for my friggin' photos.
Yeah, I know me
How
very much.
to keep the corpse from crawling away. Okay. It is squirming like a harp seal. Ooh. Well, that doesn't seem very. Yeah, it's an interesting way to put it. Oh.
Going back to the seal hunts of Newfoundland.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay, no, I definitely am missing part of that description, all that sort of thing. So I'll have to go back and do that. But